participants for the second session of Professor Madan Pandya. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Sun. Yes, so as we know, this particular session is for RNN, recurrent neural network, and RSTM part. Right. So first of all, let me open one document. Just a minute. Yeah, so I will start this RNN part with some background or previous approaches, and then identifying some problems of that approaches, and why actually we have to implement that RNN. That sequence I am taking, right? I know in a schedule you will be gone through that CNN part and normal basic machine learning algorithms and deep learning algorithms and convolution neural network part. Thus, we are I will be taking 5 to 7 minutes on that part, that and then connect the flow with the okay. Then ultimately we will design a architecture of RNN. We will see some mathematics on of RNN, and then the requirement, why the requirement of LSTM, and we will design the architecture of LSTM, and after that take the mathematics part of it also, right? So this will be the flow. Okay, so let me open. Okay, are you able to see OneNote screen which is having a white background note, and title is RNN and LSTM? Yes or no? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Professor, you're audible.
Can you
We are
see
able
it?
to see the screen as well. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Can you
So
can you
what
maximize a little further?
what can I?
Yeah, can you maximize the screen? Can you make the screen little bigger?
This is the maximum size. Yeah, I will be writing in such a way that that my handwriting will be visible to all of you. So not to worry.
Okay,
Right
okay,
now, this particular screen is blank. That's
okay.
right. Okay. So
Thank
before moving towards the RNN part, first we will discuss the main thing, that is the machine learning related part, machine learning, ML, machine learning, right? So in machine learning, what's our observation or what's our flow is basically, we have a feature extraction, manual feature extraction, and then selection, right? This is the process. Extraction for the feature selection or any kind of learning of machine learning algorithm, what we are doing, we are extracting the features and then selecting the feature select feature selection. And this particular approach is absolutely fine when we are working with a small number of data set or small data set, right? But when we are increasing the dimension as well as size of data set, right, we are facing some problems, right? So problem in terms of if particular problem is having a 2000 or 5000 feature, it is hard to learn for a machine, right? So that's the problem with machine learning, right? So and the feature extraction and feature selection are uh, handcrafted basically, right? So we have to define by the help of some expertise on that particular domain. We have to select that feature and then first of all extract that feature, then after that selection of that part, and ultimately we are getting some output in terms of prediction or classification xyz, right? So now if we talk about the problems of ML part, that is when we are using a huge data set, a large number of large number of feature that we have to that we have to manually craft that we have to manually craft. Okay? So this is the problem, and it is very tough as well as time consuming. So this is the problem, right? And the solution for this approach, if we talk about solution, is what? After knowing this particular problem, our first solution is like fully connected network, right? Feed forward, feed forward, feed forward neural network, that is called as a ANN part, right? So ANN is a solution, right? In which instead of handcrafted features, what we are having basically a auto feature engineering provided by fully forward feed forward neural network that is required, right? Fully automated or auto feature engineering is provided in ANN, right? So feature engineering, right? Then there is a concept called activation function. Then the bias, and then weights. These are the concept through which we will achieve this auto feature engineering part, right? And due to this also, that activation function, bias and weight, uh, the model is capable of learning any non-linear function, any non-linear function, any non-linear function, right? And that's why it is sometimes called as a universal function approximator, universal functional approximator, right? So now we already know that the process of ML, then problem of ML, and then solution, right? So mostly for all kind of problem, ANN is the solution, right? So ultimately we have found out this one structure that is called as a feed forward neural network, right? Which is having a well standard structure like this as an example, which is having an input layer, some hidden layers, and the output layer, right? So this is structure. Each neuron is connected with its next layer neuron. So this is the basic structure of feed forward network, right? Feed forward network. So this is your input layer. This you can consider as a hidden layer. Input layer X. X you can denote. Then this is a hidden layer. You can consider as a H. And the final is your output layer as O, right? So this is the solution for machine learning problems, right? Now, if we talk about the learning happens in this particular artificial neural fully forward feed forward neural network is based on the back propagation algorithm, right? Back propagation. So learning through back propagation. Back propagation algorithm, right? Learning happens through, so there is a forward path and backward path, right? So forward path, we will be providing a that sigma wi xi, if you know. The final output is dependent on sigma wi xi. I is equal to 1 to n wi xi plus bias. This is the scenario, right? Right? And the final is a function of activation function. It may be anything. It can be a sigmoid, it can be a threshold, it can be a ReLU, it can be a 10H, right? So there are different activation functions are there. So you can get the output using this equation, right? And the updation of this particular network, if we talk about, so this is the equation for your forward pass, right? And here you are getting, if this particular thing is the part of supervised learning, right? So you know the output also, right? So based on that thing, we have to back propagate the thing and update the errors and weights both by using the gradient descent algorithm, right? So this is the approach in a fully connected network. All right. Now, let me talk about the some problems of fully connected network. So first problem, if we talk about problem one, is related to when we want to recognize an image recognition part using ANN recognition using ANN, right? So and the if you consider the standard image size, maybe a 300 cross 300 cross 300 size, right? And if you feed that particular image, you required a large number of learning parameters in it, right? So it may leads to a lots of uh, computation, right? Though the solution is what? for the solution of this particular problem. So this is basically ANN problem. When we are giving a image as an input to the fully connected network, it is having a large number of parameters, right? The solution is CNN, convolution neural network, right? So and the concept that convolution neural network is basically using like dimensionality reduction part available into the convolution neighbors approach, you can say that, right? So in neighbors approach, basically uh, you can find like if we talk about the CNN here, actually I am describing the flow, what is the original thing, and uh, after that if by the by we are getting this many problems, so I am giving the solution also, right? So in this way I am proceed further. All right. So convolution neural network is a solution for that, this the problem of image recognition part or image classification part, right? So CNN is basically using some concept like when you classify the image, so you required a image for that. There is one concept called filter concept, you already know that filter concept. Then also they are using a stride concept for for the movement of the filter all over the image, right? There is also a one dimensionality concept called pooling concept, right? And finally we can have a flattening part, flatten layer, right? We have a reduced dimension features, right? So that is called as a flatten part, right? And ultimately now we can we have reduced the dimensionality for the classification, we can use ANN here, right? So this is the, and we can use this set of things many times, right? And finally we can add a ANN at the end, fully connected network, right? So ultimately we are getting a classification result, right? So for the image kind of thing, image classification and recognition kind of thing, we have a solution called convolution neural network, right? But now if we talk about the second problem of ANN, this approach, second problem number 2. So that uh, this ANN is works on a single input data and single output. So at a time it is focusing on one input, right? So as I'm discussing with that this part, when you give a single input to the neural network or artificial neural network, it will proceed with that particular thing and produce a output. And when and after that we have to give a second input, another input, and yeah, that network will produce a output, and you will give third input, and the network will output it will give the output for the third input, right? But there is no relationship between the first input, second input, and third input, right? And when we have this we want this kind of concept, or when we got this kind of issue, and so the same issue we are getting in terms of identifying the or analyzing the time series data, right? So the problem occurs into the time series. We must have to relate the current input to the previous one, then and only then we can predict the correct sequence of any time series data, right? So the second problem that is related to time series time series use case time series use case Right? In time series use case, you can consider the any example like share market analysis, profit forecasting for coming quarters, right? So you can take any use cases, right? Any use cases here. But time series related data, we must have we must to analyze that data properly, we must require a recognition part or remembrance part into the network. But neural network or fully connected network is not having a such kind of connection, right? So we cannot able to solve the problems or use cases of time series data, right? That is a second problem, right? If we talk about another problem, when we talk about the language translation related problem, language translation, right? So language translation, translation related problem. So if you want to convert English language statement into the Hindi language statement, so it is not fixed that we cannot fix that in number of input we cannot fix, right? And even number of output also we cannot fix, right? But in terms of artificial neural network, we must have to feed the number of input as a fixed parameters, right? So is you if you are giving a image data, so image data of 100 cross 100, so 10,000 neuron that you have to set at the initial level, that is fixed, right? But if you talk about the language translation, right, so it is not fixed like you will give a fixed number of statement or fixed number of word into the statement, right? So when you give any statement, so which is having a one word, two word, three word, four word, right? And it is producing it will produce the output according to that, right? But what if we increase the size, that we will add the one more word into that particular statement, right? And how this particular fully connected or artificial neural network uh, will work? It is not able to cope up the things, right? Of course, right? So like as an example, if we take any English statement which is having a three words, right? It may be possible that when you convert that particular language into a Gujarati or Hindi, right? So it will convert into the four different words, right? So input and output range is not fixed in language translation problem, right? So again a big issue, right? So another problem. Apart from that, image captioning. Image captioning is easy when you want to give image captioning. So in which the input is fixed. Image captioning, input is fixed basically. You are giving a input as an image, but output having a sequential format or sequential data, right? Like you are giving a image with man riding a horse, right? And the output must be there is a image in which a man riding a horse, right? So this should be output as a caption, right? And input is X here, that is image, right? So that is image captioning task. So in this also that ANN is not able to cope up the things, right? And one more thing, all the NLP problems or NLP use cases that require this uh, previous data information, right? For the understanding as well as generation, natural language understanding as well as generation part, right? So the ANN cannot handle the sequential data, not handling a memory also, right? Remembrance is not there. There is no connection between X and Y, and also it is not able to remember the uh, previous layers output, right? And it is only consider the input only, correct? So these are the ANN drawbacks. So problem number two and one, and problem for the problem number one, we have one solution, that is CNN. This, but what if we want to put a remembrance part into the artificial neural network that requires in time series use cases, we must have to define such a network that can remember and that can have a memory in it. So that is the the network that providing these two things, right, which is memory and works with the sequential data, that is the RNN, recurrent neural network. So that's why we have invented to solve these problems, right? There is an invention of recurrent neural network, right? So now, if we define the recurrent neural network, recurrent neural network, RNN. So now please be focused. I am going to generate the structure and architecture of recurrent neural network, right? Based on the ANN itself, right? ANN. So as you know, what ANN having a input layer, then we are having some of the hidden layers in it. Here I am considering only one hidden layer. You can add more than one hidden layers also, and it's related output. It's related output, right? So this is the general structure of ANN, artificial neural network, and it's especially fully feed forward network, right? Okay. Now let's rotate this thing. Instead of that horizontal structure, let me create a vertical structure for the same, right? So if I rotate this part here, so this Y becomes the first, this Y is the output, and that is based on the hidden layer, and hidden layer can get the input from the input layer, right? So uh, this is again a ANN, full feed forward network, right? And so the it will handles it will takes the input, process it, and produce a output for that thing, right? So this is a simple ANN, right? Now if we make a sequence of such a ANN, sequence of such a ANN, let me erase this one. I want to make that box bigger. So what I'm doing, I'm making this, this, and this, right? So particular time we are giving, because we must have to incorporate the uh, timing part into it, right? So we can have a some memory incorporation into it, right? So whatever input we are giving, it is respect to time, right? So here we are getting a Y, and here we are getting a H, hidden layer, right? And this is the output. So if I create a sequence of this kind of structure or RNN, sorry, ANN structure, can generate a sequence of data in terms of, like, for time instance t, right? So input x, input at time t, the hidden layer output at time t, and the output of the network at time t, right? So this is a t time scenario. Let's take this is as a t minus 1 time. So same way here, t minus 1, t minus 1 time scenario. And y is a t plus 1. Here h having a t plus 1 and x having a t plus 1 times, right? So this is how you can incorporate the sequencing into the fully connected network. But one more part is yet remaining. That is a remembrance part. How to save the data or how to save the information of previous layer. So here I am going to draw a magic line, right? This is this magic line here. It will connect one hidden layer to another hidden layer of timestamp and another hidden layer, right? So this is if we connect, right? So we will have a information, uh, we can get the out hidden layer output with the help of the x input at time t, as well as the hidden layer input at time t minus 1, the previous time, right? So and as we know, the weight concept is also there, so we can put a wx here, wx input and wx input weight, right, for an input layer, right? Same way we will have a wy as a weight value for t minus 1 time. Same way wy, we are taking the same weight here because it is just the expansion of neural network. It is we are not generating a single input, we are giving a sequence of words, right? So we are giving a same weight value to three of them, right? Time t minus 1 and time t plus 1. Same way for this connection, hidden layer connection, also having a weight wh and wh, right? So ultimately the sequence that we have generated, which is related to time and the remembrance part capability, by connecting this link, ultimately we have this is become a RNN structure, recurrent neural network structure, right? And this particular part called as a unfolded structure, unfolded representation, unfold representation, right? Unfolded, right? Now if you want to represent with folded part, right? So it is one kind of expansion of this network. Please listen to please see it carefully, right? This is a y, one hidden layer and one input layer, right? X h connection, right? And now what we have done, we have replicate this part with respect to time, right? So there is a folding approach, and you can put this kind of symbol that that says that there may be a this kind of sequence. So this is unfold part. If you want to fold this thing, so if you want to remove this symbol here, remove this symbol here. So you can do the expansion like this, the above one, right? So this is the expansion of uh, uh, RNN, right? And this is the folded one, right? And as you know, this is only one hidden layer part, right? If you want to add a multiple RNN steps, right? So multiple RNN structure. So you can add different hidden layers like one, two, and input X. So you can add H1, H2, Y. Then you can give it. This is a folded representation of multi-layer RNN. Multi-layer RNN, right? For the sake of simplicity, we are just focusing on this structure only, right? But you can create this kind of structure also, and this is called as a folded fold structure, right? Yes, yes. Are you getting whatever I am discussing now, right now? Everyone, are you able to understand the things? Hello. How we have reached to the RNN part, the structure, what each and every element are all about, then time series data, then xt minus 1, xt plus 1, and all the weights, right? Are you able to understand the thing and structure of RNN? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, sir. It's
Huh.
going on well. Yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, so now this is the basic structure of RNN, right? That we have discussed. Right? If you consider the different types of RNN, like you can consider as a one-to-many connection, one-to-many architecture, one-to-many type, or sorry, let's start with one-to-one only. So one-to-one, that is your this one. This is one-to-one, right? This is one-to-one architecture, which is having a single input and single output. Single output, right? This is called as a one-to-one architecture. Basically, this particular architecture called as a vanilla neural network and used for the regular time series data set. So this is one variation that you can get into RNN, right? Apart from that, there is a one-to-many architecture. One-to-many architecture. So one-to-many architecture, that means you have only one input, you have only one input, and your analysis will take a different hidden layers for the process, as well as you will have a multiple output sequences also. Multiple output sequences also, right? So this structure will become a one-to-many structure and useful useful for the problems like image captioning, right? As I discussed earlier, right? In image captioning, you are giving a one image data, and caption is like there is a man riding on a horse, right? So this can be the output. So sequence is the output, and you are giving a single input, right? So use case can be a image captioning for when you want to solve a problem of image captioning. You can use this one-to-many architecture. One more use case that you can take music generation also. then in that output is basically sequence, right? Not a single output, just sequence kind of thing, right? So so in captioning, basically you are giving a image and the output is the text description into the image, right? uh, I have given example also, right? That man is riding a horse kind of thing, right? Or you are giving a one image in which the boy is studying a book. So your input is a that image, and the caption output is one boy is studying with book, right? So that become a sequence here, this sequence, right? So this is a second variation that you can get in RNN. Like third is many to many, or sorry, many to one, many to one architecture. Many to one, that means you are having a multiple inputs and its related hidden layers. It's related hidden layer, but it, it will produce a single output, right? Single output like y here, right? What will be the use cases for this kind of architecture is like sequential analysis, if you want, right? Sequential analysis, like if you are passing any sequence to the network, and the output of that particular sequence will be uh, any specific word, right? Or uh, a fixed size of vector. Maybe let's take one example like uh, mm, I love cheese, right? This can be a input sequence, right? And the task is to identify the language of this particular statement, right? I love cheese is basically I have written in English or spoken in English language. So output must be a English here. English, that is a fixed size vector, right? And the I love cheese, that is a sequence that you are giving to the network, right? So these are the third variation, and the fourth variation that we can focus is many to many, many to many, right? So in this there are a sequence of input also, and as a output also you are having a sequence like y, the output h, 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 x. And here it is not fixed that if you are providing a three inputs, so output layers having a output also there is a uh, three connections or three output, right? It maybe varies according to the sequences, right? So the example or use cases of this particular architecture is like language translation, right? English to Hindi, right? Here we in a first session we have gone through that machine learning part, right? So English in that particular statement, total words used are 6, right? But when you transfer that same thing into the Hindi language, so it has produced a 7 words, right? So that language translation, English to French, French to English, then English to Tamil, right? So you may have a different output with different according to the language that you want to translate, right? So both the input and output are sequence. Yes, it is necessary. Input is also you are giving a statement, and output is also you are getting as a statement, right? So input and output both are the sequences, right? So this is the different architecture or different types of RNN that you can use as per the use cases, right? Yes, are you getting everyone? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's going ahead well. Please continue. Yes.
yeah, okay. Now this is enough about the RNN architecture and all. Let's move towards the mathematics part. All right. So if we take the network, let me draw a network of RNN. Output at t minus 1 time, the hidden layer t minus 1 time, and the input at t minus 1 time. Right. Same way, we have a for input at t time, then calculation at t time, the output at t time, and y t plus time, then layer t plus time, and the t plus time, as well as we have a connection that will forward a memory to the network, and each connection link having a associated weight that we already know. So here this link having a WX related input related weights. This is a weight related to Y output WY, and this is related weight for hidden layer WH, and W. Right? So this is the architecture of RNA. Now how we can get the output, right? So suppose if we remember the perceptron, right? Remember that perceptron which is having a number of inputs, right? You are providing, and then particular input having a sigma operation and activation function, and that we are get after that we are getting the output Y, right? So in that Y is what basically the number of input. As an example, sigma sorry xi if there is a two inputs only, right? So x1 w1 plus x2 w2 plus bias, and it is a function of any activation function like sigmoid or uh, 10h or threshold or whatever, right? So activation function we can use here, right? So this is the basic formula, right? So here in Rn also we are following the same thing, right? So because it is the individual network, if we are considering it's the ANN itself, right? This individual one, right? Or looks like a perceptron part, a input, hidden, a input processing and output, input processing and output, input processing and output, right? So by taking this reference, if you want to calculate the output of this layer, right? This layer is YT, right? So that output, mm, So to get this particular thing, we need to, let's consider the output here. This output we want. All right. So output Z at hidden layer time t. Right. So this is the thing. Output of this ht we are going to find out. All right. So output Z for hidden part at time t is equal to the weights provided with the input, weights into the provided input of a weight of sorry, weights of input into the input value at time t, plus the hidden layer value at a timestamp t minus 1 into into the provided weight w into the weight this one, right? So we are not considering only this input, we are considering its previous layers output also, right? So that's the thing that you have to take care. So here xt into wx is the first parameter plus h t minus 1 into connected weight is wh plus the bias value at hidden layer, it is called as a bh. All right. So this will become, and this is the internal calculation, right? And this, if you want to find out that ht, proper ht, so ht will become a function of this value, right? So that function you can replace by any activation function, right? And a into this output z h at time t, right? So ultimately you can get the value of ht by using this equation, right? Now this is all about the forward pass, right? Now in back propagation, what we are actually calculating, so whatever input we are giving, we are getting some output, but though we are into the supervised learning part, we know the output, right? So here we are getting what, basically a loss loss at time t minus 1, loss at time t, and loss at time t plus 1, right? And after getting this loss, what we have to do, we have to back propagate to the network. So here we are going to back propagate, and find out the each and every updated weight, value, and try to minimize the error, the error using gradient descent algorithm, right? So this thing we have to do as a part of back propagation, right? So how we can get the loss? Basically loss is nothing but the let me give the equation. So loss is basically a submission sigma at time T is equal to 1 to T L T. That each and every time then related loss function we have to sum, so we can get a total loss summation, basically L1 plus L2 plus L3 kind of thing, right? So we ultimately will get a L, right? Now after getting a loss, uh, what new thing that we have to do, we have to update the weight. So for updation of weight, we required a learning rate and the partial differential difference of loss with respect to weight. This is also following in a perceptron part. We are following in a perceptron part, right? So after getting this difference in weight, we just have to update the weight like W plus delta W. So that is a updation of weight. So in this way, the RNN calculation will be, right? Right. So this is the mathematics behind the RNN. Right. Now, what if we have, this is the smallest architecture. All right. What if we are having a long statement in terms of uh, I am thinking about the term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4, term 5, and because of that, I have ideas like I1, I2, I3. This long statement are you giving into the network, right? So at that point of time, the architecture of RNN is what? It will become like this. It is having a input, it is having a input, then hidden layer and output layer, its connection, input, hidden layer, output, its connection, input, hidden layer and its connection, right? And this goes on and on till the end of the statement, each and every word, end of the statement, and there may be 100-word statement, right? So we are having 100 connections like this, right? So what will happen in this thing is like when you are performing a back propagation part for a bigger RNN network, So here what you are doing, a uh, multiplication, right? So multiplication like as an example, let me give you a proper example. Just a minute. Okay, so when we do this back propagation part, at some point of time, if you are back propagating and updating the error delta W after some back propagation, after some calculation of back propagation, there will be a very small change in a gradient or weight value, right? It is like almost because we have to start with here and then we have to move, because we are not changing the weight also for each and every layer, right? This WY, if you consider the WY, so this change will become a much smaller and nearer to zero, at that point of time, there will be a no learning of RNN, of RNN, of RNN. When we are giving a long input to the network, and no learning, that concept is basically this particular thing is happening into the network, that is called as a vanishing gradient. Vanishing gradient problem. Gradient problem. And to solve this vanishing gradient problem, we have approach called long short term memory approach, LSTM. So solution of vanishing gradient problem of RNN is LSTM, right? So instead of taking the knowledge of all the sequences backward, right? We have so we have to give such a facility to the network that can forget some values which are not required, for the processing, right? So here, in LSTM, if you talk about the RNN part first, so RNN part is having a input and the hidden weight, right? This is the thing, and ultimately we are having a output here, right? So in this part of box, in LSTM, we have added one more parameter, one more concept called cell state. Cell state. And this cell state is responsible for the forgot the values of gradient or weights, and what value that network has to remember. So that part is taken care by this cell state uh, section, and in which cell stage we are giving a different gates for that, right? So instead of the hidden weight, we are providing a new term called cell state condition, and that will handle the all the not required weights, right? So this is the concept in LSTM, all right? So we required a and ultimately we will get a next stage, right? So we will get a CT plus 1, and here we will get a HT plus 1, right? So new output after passing this thing, right? So now if we elaborate this term, this box, right? So that will give us a proper intuition regarding the LSTM part, right? So let me do it that thing. So as you know that RNN having this this simple structure, which is having a input, hidden layer, output, input, hidden layer, output at particular time interval, right? T xt plus 1 hidden layer, same time t plus 1 time, yt plus 1, right? And connections also. And this is yt minus 1, yt here, right? This is the basic RNN structure, right? So now let me mm, represent the same structure as this is a vertical horizontal part, right? So instead of this, what we have a horizontal structure, right? The box here, this is you can consider as a x related terms, xt plus 1 related terms, xt minus 1 related term, xt related term, and xt plus 1 related term, right? And apart from that, what you have, this hidden layer. So here you are passing a hidden layer value, right, at t minus 1 time, and this hidden layer value at t time, and this thing is h t plus 1 time, right? So as I have discussed, apart from this hidden layer calculation, there is a one more state calculation, that is cell state. So cell state at t minus 1 is we can incorporate. Then cell is ct, cell state value at time t, and cell state value at time t plus 1. And internal part is we are having a some activation function like tanh, right? So tanh is there as a activation function, and tanh is activation, right? So this is how we can represent a LSTM basic structure, right? Now this particular network or architecture having a terms called C, that is work as a cell state. Then there is a one term is like one thing is this is called as a RNN cell, because the base thing is RNN itself, right? We are just adding a one more parameter as cell state, right? So base is RNN, right? So simple RNN cell, a simple RNN cell is a base of the LSTM network. Then there is a cell state for long short-term memory setup, cell state here, cell state for long short-term memory. Then there is a gate system available into this cell state, which are responsible for the forget some unnecessary weight value. Uh, so forget gate is there, the input gate is there, and fifth there is a output gate, right? So these are the terms uh, incorporated into this box or this network, right? So for understanding of this all thing and the mathematics part of LSTM, let me consider this single box as a understanding purpose, right? The single box. So I'm elaborating this box here. All right. To elaborate this part, hello, am I audible? Everyone, are you following me?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So, let me maximize this part, right? And as we know that we are having a uh, four different gates available basically. That is a forget gate, input that input gate, three different gates: forget gate, input gate, and output gate, right? So let me in this box. So first, let me define a big box. Big box, right? So this is the big box, right? In this particular box, so it's a extension of this thing, right? So what we have here is a cell state T, a CT minus 1 is a cell state, as well as let me erase this part, as well as we have a hidden input at time T minus 1. So these are the previous thing, and I am elaborating this part, right? So there may be a few layers here also, and there may be a few layers after this particular box, right? Okay, so this is clear, I think. Okay, now I want to draw the three gates, right? So first gate is forget gate. The that gate is responsible for remembering a specific set of parameters only, and the parameters are not useful for the further communication. They can drop out that parameter. So for that there is a one gate here, that is you can call it as a forget gate, right? Now there is a input gate also, input gate. So here there is a input gate. Actually, input gate having a uh, uh, two more gates in it. That is a input gate itself, input gate, and input node, input gate and input node, right? And there is a one more gate, that is output gate. That is output gate. Output gate. All right, and this hidden layer part is connected to this one, as well as this one, as well as this one, as well as this output. All right, so this part you can declare as a dot. This is ultimately our input, right? And whatever the operations that, and one more thing, the activation function we are using in the forget gate is sigmoid here. Same way sigmoid function we are using here, tanh function we are using here as a activation function. Output layer is using a sigmoid again, and here the output is what? Yeah, wait a minute. Just draw me a thing. Okay. So this is a forget gate, and then whatever the output we are getting, we have to multiply. So forget gate output we can consider as a f, and the timing forget gate output f. The input gate output is like I. The input node output consider as G, then output node output consider as O, right? So this is the terms and condition we are using, right? And and ultimately these are the input gate is combination of these two, right? So to provide that combination, we have to do a dot product of this thing, whatever we are getting as output. So we require dot product, right? And then if we want to connect this channel, right, so we have to perform some summation operation that we are going to see, summation operation. And after completion of this thing, what we are getting actually, uh, here again there is a requirement of one function, and that is lead to activation function. Ultimately that is leads to a output called as a CT, right? CT is the output of this network, as well as there is a output of what? HT, hidden layer, at time t, because we are concentrating on time t. Yes, so the forget gate for time t, so ft we can define. Input gate time t, output gate gt, sorry, input node gt, and output gate ot, right? So in this way we can define, and finally we can connect with this thing, right? So here they are using a sigmoid function, sorry, sigmoid, sigmoid, tanh, sigmoid, and again here we are using a tanh, tanh. The weights we are using, weights we are using is like here what we have, xt as an input, yes, xt as an input. So we can incorporate a weight related to xt. We can incorporate weight related to ht minus 1. So weight of forget gate related to h. Weight of forget gate related to input x, and the bias weight for forget, right? So in the same way, if you want to define the weights for this input gate, is like weight for input gate of hidden layer, for hidden layer, weight of input gate with respect to x input, and the bias with respect to input gate. Same way, weights of input node G H with respect to hidden layer, then weights of uh, input node with respect to input X, and the bias BG, right? Same way W OH, W OX, and BO, right? So these are the weights that we are using for the calculation. We are going to use. Okay. So this is the one simple state of LSTM, right? And the calculation process of LSTM. All right. Now, if we do some mathematics kind of thing, the first thing what we get, what we want actually, we want basically the output of forget gate, output of input gate, G gate. Finally, we have to merge that thing, and it will proceed with the this time t and this output and this tanh function and produce the CT. So ultimate goal is to find out CT and HT. All right. So how we can find the CT and HT with these conditions that that right now we are going to, right? So FT. First of all, the forget gate output at time interval t, right, is equal to, as we have already done the equation in RNN, same way we have to follow the thing, right? Like,
Sir, I'm
yeah,
sorry to interrupt you.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, how long will it take to wind up?
5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Because it's lunch
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
thank you, sir.
So it will take 5 to 10 minutes, right? So we are following the same equation. This one, this I have mentioned here, all right? For LSTM part, we have to put a proper input and output values, right? So if you want to calculate that FT, so we have that input here, we have that hidden layer state, right? So what we have to do, we just have to multiply the forget gate value, uh, forget gate weight with respect to hidden layer into the state, that is hidden layer state t minus 1. That is our first parameter. A second parameter with respect to this weight, right, or this input, right? So second thing is w f of x into this xt plus bias for this is bf, right? So this is the calculation for getting a FT, and of course here we have to provide a activation sigma. So this is your sigma, right? So this is how we can get the the output of forget gate, right? And that forget gate, after getting a forget gate, what there is a multiplication uh, operation with respect to this and the cell state of this particular LSTM's previous state, right? So we have to provide a cell state kind of thing that is ultimately reflect to a forget part. So C cell state, what we can define this word as C of TF, right? This is where we can define C of time instant T respect to forget gate, right? So TF is equal to, we just have to multiply CT minus 1 into the forget gate output, and for this multiplication the condition is what? Same dimensionality. Of course, then and only then we can have a multiplication kind of thing. So if I take the, if suppose the output of this CT minus 1 is like 142 and FT is 101, right? The output may be 102. So here this 4 is drop out, right, due to this operation. So that means there is no need of 4 value when we are trying to go further for further investigation, right? So this is a dropout kind of thing, or induce the forget gate kind of thing that is not available into RNN structure, right? So this, for due to this forget gate, we can reduce the vanishing gradient problem, right? So this is the output of CTF. Right now, third part is like uh, mm, this output and this output, right? So let me, the same way we have to follow. Very simple. Uh, there is an input IF, sorry, input at time t. Value is what? Basically the associated weight. We have to use like IH into HT minus 1 plus the second part, input related weights, WIX into XT plus BI bias, right? And they are using a sigmoid function. So this is the output of IT. Same way we can find GT also, right? But in GT, we are using tan-H function, as I mentioned, right? So tan-H function, and the calculation is like W for input node. We have used WGH into HT minus 1 state plus the WGX into XT plus bias G, right? So this is the output of GT, right? Same way. And after completion of this two, what we have to do? We have to do a multiplication thing, right? This is multiplication, right? So the output, this multiplication of these two, let's say provide C T of from I, CT of I, right? So that CT of I, if you want to calculate, so simply CT to I is IT into GT, right? IT into GT, right? So this is how. So now this we got. What we got here? We got CTF, CTI, right? Right? And then after this particular process, this line goes to and produces CT. So final CT is what? Basically we have to do the submission thing, right? So CT is what basically the summation of CTF plus CTI, right? So the CT, that is our goal, how to find CT. So CT finally, CT is like CTI plus CTF, right? So this is the thing. This is the value as a output of cell state at time t, right? Another thing, what about the output state yet remaining? Output state O, OT, right? So how to find out OT? Same way. OT is what? OT is using a sigmoid function, and the weights that we are using is like WOH into H T minus 1 plus WOX into XT plus bias BO, right? So this will be the output, right? And finally, to find out HT, HT is the second output, right? So HT is what basically the CT that we get here, CT value, right? And CT applies the 10H function here, and the OT, we required a multiplication of that part, right? Let's see the activation function with 10H. So 10H CT into OT, that will reflect the HT. So 10H CT activation function with CT value into OT, that is the second output, hidden layer output of at timestamp, right? So this is it as far as mathematics part concerned of LSTM, right? So I hope you got this terminology, and this particular session will helpful while you are actually going to the LSTM and RNN part, right? So so if some part is some part, if you are after this session, if you are working in the domain, and if some topics are related to my session, so please remember me. Sir has told this kind of thing, and you please relate that part to my session as well as, right? So hopefully you will get a better result, right? Okay, so I think thank you so much for listening and bearing me for a 2 hour more. So total 4 hour I have conducted. Right. Okay. So this is it about RNN and LSTM from my side. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, I will call it a day. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. It was a nice presentation. Participants, if you have any questions, you can post now. Participants, if you have any questions, you can also unmute your audio and then you can ask questions to the speaker.
Right now, participants are only focusing for the lunch.
Yeah, I think most of them have that. Okay.
Dr. Murtang Pandya, thank you for the session.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Really impressive one. And you use EndNote, it is fine as usual. Very cool.
Thank you.
Very calm. Thank you, really.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shivashankar. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. We thank Dr. Ritin Pandey for all your efforts from the morning until this time, and we really missed to have you in the campus. And we still remember memories that we had when you came here and you conducted the program for 2 days.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If time permits, I will surely come. And if this corona situation is get over, then we will plan this kind of session.
Okay, we are also looking forward to meet you in
Yeah.
our campus to welcome you. And
Yeah.
if you have any kind of venture that you take up regarding students' project or funded projects, please do reach out to us. Let us try to collaborate or associate. And
Yeah, surely, sure. 100%.
take the research bondage further.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, all our due thanks to you. Thank you. My best wishes for you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Propose
Okay,
the
bye.
thanks.
Okay. Any other? Shanti madam, you can take feedback from participant and do share with me. Right?
Yeah.
And participant can also share the feedback right now if they want. Right?
Okay. Person. Okay. I'll propose the formal vote of thanks. So on behalf of the organizing team of AIMS 2021, we thank Mr. Mridang Pandya for his highly informative and brainstorming lecture on natural language processing. His lecture content is well organized, starting with its history, methodology, implementation, and applications, delivered with clear explanations, augmented with real-life examples. In the second session, he has given a clear insight on the architecture and implementation of RNN, which reveals his in-depth expertise in this domain. So I strongly believe that both your thought-provoking lectures would be a great source of motivation to explore new dimensions of research in this area. So thanks again. We look forward to similar associations in the future. So thank you for being part of AIMS 2020.